भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 6, chapter entitled The Killing of the Demon Putana, text number 44. Ya etat putana moksham कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। य एतत् पूतना मोक्षम् कृष्णस्यार्भकम् अद्भुतम् शृणुयात् श्रद्धया मर्त्यो गोविन्दे लभते रतिम्। Word to word translation. Yah, anyone who, etat, this, putana moksham, salvation of putana, krishnasya, of Krishna, arbhakam, the childhood pastimes, adbhutam, wonderful, shunuyat, should hear, shraddhaya, with faith and devotion, martya, any person within this material world, govinde, for the supreme person Govinda, Adi Purusha, labate, gains, ratim, attachment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Any person who hears with faith and devotion about how Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, killed Putana, and who thus invests his hearing in such childhood pastimes of Krishna, certainly attains attachment for Govinda, the Supreme Original Person. Purport. The incident in which the great witch attempted to kill the child but was killed herself is certainly wonderful. Therefore, this verse uses the word Adbhutam, meaning specifically wonderful. Krishna has left us many wonderful narrations about him. Simply by reading these narrations, as they are described in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one gains salvation from this material world and gradually develops attachment to and devotion for Govinda, Adi Purusha. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, especially on the story of Putana. I'll try to speak something. So we've seen today we are actually reading the concluding verse of this chapter. In this particular chapter, Shukdev Goswami is actually giving the falastuti of hearing this pastime. He says that one who actually hears this pastime of Krishna killing Putana with faith and devotion will actually get attraction for Supreme Lord, which is the highest goal. So when we see this pastime of Putana, killing of Putana by Lord Krishna, as Gaurang Prabhu also beautifully explained on this Sunday Bhagavatam class, when we see this character of Putana, Putana is actually fallen from all respects. Putana's birth, activity, association, everything was actually degraded. She was born in a family of demons, and her activity was killing children, and her association were also other demons and demonesses, and she was used to only drinking blood, and she was used to eating the flesh of other human beings. So like in some cases, like suppose somebody may be born in a bad family, but at least he may become elevated by his activity. But in the case of Putana, she was fallen from all respects. In fact, it's explained that when Kamsa wanted to kill all the newborn babies, he did not even have to order Putana. Putana came actually on her own to execute the will of Putana, to execute the will of Kamsa. So Putana was actually, by nature, she was cruel. It's not that Kamsa ordered, so she just acted according to the order of Kamsa. She actually came on her own. By nature, she was cruel. So we can see that how Putana was such a cruel person, but still actually Krishna gave mercy to Putana. Krishna actually gave the position of mother to Putana. In fact, I was reading this book in which the lectures spoken by Radha Govind Maharaj are compiled. So he was giving different reasons for why actually Krishna closed his eyes when Putana came to kill Krishna. He's giving some 21 reasons based on the different Acharyas' purports. But I just I thought I would like to share 3 reasons which caught my attention. So explained that one of the reasons why actually Krishna closed his eyes when Putana came to kill Krishna is that Krishna actually saw that Putana had not done any good activities in this particular life. She had not performed any devotional service in this life. And Krishna wanted to see whether she has done any good activities, any devotionals or any good activities in her past life. In order to find out that, Krishna actually closed his eyes and started meditating whether she has done any good qualities in his past life. And it's explained that Putana actually came directly to, like Putana was employed by Kamsa to kill all the newborn children. But according to some Vaishnavacharya which he quotes, he says that like Putana came directly to Nanda Maharaj's house because Krishna directly inspired Putana to directly come to his house. Because Krishna cannot tolerate Putana killing other children in Vraja who would be actually his friends in the future. So Krishna inspired Putana to directly come to his house. So Krishna thought that this Putana actually she wants to kill my devotees. Actually, Putana was saying like harming my devotees is actually completely out of question. Nobody can actually harm my question. And what to speak of harming my devotees, I cannot even see a person who thinks of harming a person. This Putana is actually thinking of harming my devotees, thinking of killing so many children, that how can I actually see her face? So thinking like that, Krishna actually closed his eyes. And another reason which he explains is that when a father actually sees that the child is actually behaving in an improper way, father wants to actually punish the child. But father feels sad to punish the child. But while punishing the child, father actually does not exhibit his sadness toward the child, because if he exhibits that sadness, then like child will not take that punishment seriously. So similarly, Krishna the Supreme Lord, he actually has affection towards all living entities, whether somebody is a demon or a devotee, or somebody pays attention to him or somebody does not pay attention to him. By nature he is actually only merciful. But when a person actually acts demonically, Krishna actually wants to punish that person. But he actually feels very sad while punishing the demon. But Krishna actually does not exhibit that sadness, because if he exhibits that sadness, there will be other demons. They would not become fearful of Krishna, they would actually commit sinful activities. And this demon who would be punished by Krishna, he would also not take seriously. So that is why, although Krishna was feeling very sad, but then he did not actually exhibit that sadness. And then he was feeling that sadness, and Krishna was thinking, so now I am going to kill Putana, and Putana is going to die very soon. She is going to experience great pain and she is going to die very soon. And how can I actually see the pain of Putana? So I don't want to see the painful death of Putana. Thinking like that, actually Krishna closed his eyes. So we can see that this particular pastime actually exhibits to the full extent that how actually Krishna is by nature full of mercy. In fact, he gives another example that just like a touchstone, whether the knife of a hunter, like touchstone will convert anything into gold, whether it comes in contact with the knife of a hunter or whether it comes in contact with a knife which is used in the temple for cutting vegetables or fruits. So touchstone actually does not discriminate, oh, this knife is actually used by hunter, this knife is used in the service of the Lord. So similarly, Krishna actually, in this particular pastime, it's proved that Krishna actually did not consider even the Putana's intention. In fact, Krishna saw only the apparently good qualities of Putana. So Krishna saw the two good things in Putana. The first quality which Krishna saw was that Putana has actually come to me in Vrindavan. He has actually come to meet me in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is the abode of the Lord. So she has come to meet me in Vrindavan. So he saw that as a good quality. In fact, like Solnas Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he tells, like he says that how, like any person who actually comes to the temple of the Lord, we should treat that person as a very intimate guest of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. So Krishna was actually, like we can see that mood in Krishna. Krishna saw that good quality that she has come to meet me in Vrindavan. And then Krishna saw that this Putana has actually put on the dress of a gopi. And even in that, she has actually put on the dress of my mother. So Krishna saw that as a good quality. In fact, Putana actually dressed herself so nicely that Yashoda got a doubt, am I the mother or Putana is the mother? And like all the other gopis, like who are acting in the position of Krishna's mother, like they did not have any guts to actually ask Putana, like, why are you entering others' house, or who are you, where are you coming from? So it is explained, Ati Vama Cheshtitam. That means like Putana, she was treating the child better than a mother. So she was exhibiting in that way. So Krishna actually saw that as a good quality. In fact, Shukdev Goswami describes in great detail about Putana's actually appearance. Shukdev Goswami describes the makeup used by Putana. How Putana had decorated herself with mallika flowers, had decorated her hair with many colorful flowers, how she had actually put brilliant earrings, and Shukdev Goswami describing the bodily features of Putana. And Shukdev Goswami, he also describes the body language of Putana, like how Putana was actually smiling at everyone. She was smiling and she was casting glances on everyone. It's not that like she ignored somebody or she put attention to somebody. So Shukdev Goswami describes all these details. So one may ask, like Shukdev Goswami is like is such a renounced person, like, and Shukdev Goswami came out of the womb of his mother at the age of 16, when he was actually going naked, that like seeing Shukdev Goswami, like some of the ladies were actually taking bath in the river. They did not want to cover their bodies because they could see that how Shukdev Goswami is so renounced. But Shukdev Goswami is such a great renunciant, but he is actually describing in great detail about Putana's bodily features. So one may ask, like, why is Shukdev Goswami describing such great detail? So he explained that Shukdev Goswami thought that this Putana is going to become actually the associate of Krishna in the future. She is going to become Krishna's mother. How can I actually have hatred towards Putana? So thinking like that, Shukdev Goswami described in great detail the bodily features. So that is why we see, when we see this, when the third canto, when Uddhava was actually remembering the pastimes of Krishna, Uddhava was remembering the different activities of Krishna, and then he speaks this famous verse, Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigam shayapaya yadapya sadvi lebe gatim dat ruchitam tatonyam kamva dayalum sharanam vrajema. So Uddhava is saying, who can be a better master than Krishna? Because Krishna has given the position of mother to Putana, who came to kill Krishna with envy in her heart, and who was completely faithless. He is especially using the word Lebe Gatim Dat. Putana is called as Asadvi, that means she was faithless, and Ahobakiyam Stanakala Kutam Jigam Shaya, she had actually smeared her breast with poison out of envy towards Krishna, to kill Krishna. So she is having these two qualities, faithlessness and envy. Like Kala Krishna Prabhu, Kala Chakra Krishna Prabhu pointed out this one. But like when we see, like let us see, take this quality of envy. Like in fact, Krishna actually in various places talked about how Krishna does not appreciate envy on the part of a person. Like at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says this particular verse about who is not qualified to hear Bhagavad Gita, he says, Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana nacha asushrushrave vachyam nacha mam yobhya suyati. He says that one should not actually give this knowledge to one who is not austere, one who has no control over the senses. And then he says, but then if a person may have control over the senses, but idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya, but if he has no devotion, or if he does not accept me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then also you should not give this knowledge to him. And then he says, but then if a person may have control of the senses, or a person may have devotion, but if he is not engaged in my devotional service, or if he has no desire to hear, then also one should not give this knowledge. And then he says, but a person may have these three qualities, control of the senses, devotion, or obedience. Obedience means like engage in the service of the Lord. But if he is envious of me, then one should never give it to such a person. So in this particular verse, especially Krishna is, when it mentions na tapaskaya, na bhaktaya, asushrushrave. So these three words, they are actually used in dative case. One should not give unto a person who is not austere, unto a person who has no devotion, etc. But the last word, that is, nacha ashushrave vachyam nacha mam yobhya suyati. When he is actually describing the word person who is envious, he is actually using the nominative case. So basically the underlying, what I am trying to say is, like he is actually trying to emphasize that how the envious person is particularly degraded. So even if a person has all the first three qualities, but if he is envious, then he is not actually qualified to receive this knowledge of Gita. So like Krishna is giving a strong emphasis on this quality of actually being envious. And in fact, even we see in the third canto, when Lord Kapila Dev, after actually describing the Sankhya Yoga, again he actually describes who is actually qualified to hear this knowledge and who is not qualified to hear. When he describes who is not qualified to hear, he says, Naitat kalayo upadishen na vinitaya tarihichit. If a person is having evil motives, then one should not give this knowledge to him. Or if a person is not having the behavior as a student, then one should not give this knowledge. And then he says, Na stabdaya na binnaya naiva dharma dvajayacha. Or if a person is proud, or if a person is having other opinions, or if a person is posing himself as a religionist, or is actually taking to religion for name and fame, or to get some gain, then one should not give this knowledge to such a person. And then he says in the next verse, Na lolupaya upadishen. But if a person may not have the above four qualities which we described, that is, evil motives or behavior of a student, he may not have evil motives, he is having the behavior of a student, etc. But if he is like very much attached to material enjoyment, then one should not give this knowledge to him. And then he says, Na griharuda chetase. But then a person may not be attached to material enjoyment. A person may have all the good qualities. But if he is very much attached to family life, then one should not give this knowledge to him. And then he says, Na bhaktaya chame jatu. But if a person may not have all the bad qualities which are above mentioned, may have all the good qualities, but if he is not a devotee of the Lord, if he is not a devotee of me, then one should not give this knowledge to him. And then he says, Na bhaktaya chame jatu namat bhakta dvisham api. But a person may have all the above good qualities, but if he is envious of my devotees, then one should never give this knowledge to him. So here, Vishwanath Chakravarti makes the point. He says that out of error or inattention, sometimes one may instruct such kind of people who may have those bad qualities, the 7 bad qualities which you mentioned. But then one should never teach those people who hate the devotees. And again, if you see in these 2 verses, the first 7 bad qualities, they are actually used in the locative case, and the last item is used in the accusative case, that is, those who are envious of the devotees. Like in order to particularly point out this actually bad quality in a person. In other words, the other persons, the first 7 type of person, they are actually secondary. But the last person is actually the primary person who should be completely avoided in instructing. So he concludes the purport by saying, if others cannot be taught, then what to speak of those who hate the devotees? So I'm not trying to create some, it's not that I myself have so much of envy towards the devotee. It's not trying to create some guilt or this thing. But basically the point I'm trying to make is, such strong statements are mentioned about those who are envious of the devotees should not be given this knowledge. And here Putana, it's not that she had envy towards Krishna, she wanted to kill all the children in Vrindavan. So she had envy towards the devotees. And that envy was not just passive envy, it was the most active envy. She wanted to kill the children. And few weeks back, Sulnas Radhanath Swami Maharaj was giving the Bhagavatam class, Sunday feast class, he mentioned, when a person thinks of hurting the Supreme Lord, it is like hurting the body of the Lord, hurting one's body. But when a person wants to hurt the devotees, it is like hurting the Supreme Lord's heart. Somebody may hurt our body, but still we can live. But if somebody hurts our heart, then one cannot actually continue to live. So, like hurting the devotees of the Lord, being envious of the devotees of the Lord, it is like hurting the heart of the Supreme Lord. But here we see that Putana is actually having that, like she is actually envious of, not only of Krishna, she is actually envious of the devotees of the Lord. In fact, like different places in Prabhupada's purport, Prabhupada actually gives different definitions for a demon, for who is a demon. But in one particular, not in a purport, in one particular verse in the 7th canto, while describing the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj, in one particular verse it's described, Prabhupada translates it as, unlike the other demons, Prahlad Maharaj was not envious of the devotees. When His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was giving a Bhagavatam class in this particular verse, he especially repeated this particular sentence at least 10 times during the course of the class. And he made the devotees repeat this statement many times. Because unlike the other demons, Prahlad Maharaj was not envious of the devotees. So that means, in this particular translation, the definition of a demon is one who is actually envious of the devotees. That is actually a demon. Like, many of us may be demons in that, if we see the definition. But we say, so we can see that this quality of being envious of the Lord or envious of the devotees is like given a very severe treatment in the scriptures. But here Putana, although she is actually envious, like Krishna actually gave the actually position of mother to Putana. Like Krishna punished Putana. Krishna saw the good qualities, but Krishna punished, as Govind Prabhu pointed out in this Bhagavatam class. Krishna punished Putana for her bad activities, and after that Krishna rewarded Putana. Like in this world, like the nature of this world is, like there are these two things, attachment and aversion. Like sometimes we become so attached to a particular person and we do not see the bad qualities in the person and we do not actually address that. We do not address the, we do not punish or it's not this thing. Or sometimes a person becomes so attached to a person, so attached to the bad quality, we become so averse to a particular person that we fail to see that this person has so many good qualities. Like for example, like when Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha died, their mother Diti, the whole universe were considering Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha to be the greatest terrorists in the history of the world. But then Diti was thinking that, oh, they are my dear children and they have been killed by Indra. She wanted to take revenge against Indra. Like this is like attachment. Like so Maharaj pointed out, he said like love is blind. That she was so blind in her love that she did not see that although they were only filled with bad qualities. And sometimes a person becomes so averse to a person, like Daksha was so averse to Lord Shiva, we will be discussing that he actually did not see the good qualities in Daksha, Lord Shiva. But Krishna saw the bad qualities, Krishna punished Putana, and then Krishna saw the good qualities. Seeing the good qualities, Krishna actually gave the position of mother to Putana. So here we see, so this essential lesson from this episode of Putana, of this character of Krishna, is that one has to actually try to see the essence. Means one has to see the good qualities and one has to actually neglect the bad qualities. In fact, when Parishit Maharaj is described that when Kali actually surrendered to Parishit Maharaj saw the good qualities in Kali, that this Kali Yuga, although it's filled with bad qualities, but he has one good quality, that whatever good activities we want to do, just the thought will actually give the benefit. But even though we may have many bad motives, but you will not get the reaction unless we perform the activity, which is not the case in Satya Yuga. In Satya Yuga, You have to actually perform the good activity to get the benefit. And even a thought of like committing a bad activity will actually give you the reaction. So there Parishit Maharaj is described as Sarabuk, or one who sees the substance. And Prabhupada, when he translates Sarabuk, he says Sarabuk, Parishit Maharaj is a realist. That means, if we actually do not see the good qualities in a person, if we are only focused on the bad qualities, that means we are actually living in an imaginary world. If you have to actually be a realist, Parishit Maharaj, realist, that means like you saw the good qualities and neglected the bad qualities. If we are not having this attitude, that means we are actually in an imaginary world, we are actually in a dream state. Although we may be awake, like that. So, in fact, like this particular, in one particular purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in the 4th canto, he actually classifies, he talks about 4 kinds of good people and 4 kinds of bad people. When Sati went to the sacrificial arena, Sati, the wife of Lord Shiva, when she went to the sacrificial arena of Daksha Prajapati, so she saw that this Daksha was actually not offering the oblations to Lord Shiva, and Daksha was actually indulgent, blaspheming Lord Shiva. He was not giving any respect to Lord Shiva. So Sati actually could not tolerate that. That time Sati actually speaks this particular verse. She says, Doshan paresham hi guneshu sadavo grihnanti kechin na bhavadrusho dvija gunamscha falgun bahuli karishnavo mahattamasteshva vidad bhavanagam. Sati is saying, she is addressing Daksha as Dvija, twice born. Actually, she is actually sarcastically addressing as Dvija, or twice born. She says, a man like you can simply find fault in the qualities of, can only find fault in the qualities of others. But in contrast to you, Lord Shiva not only finds no fault in others' qualities, but he actually magnifies a small good quality to a great extent. That is the nature of Lord Shiva, but unfortunately, you are finding fault with such a great person, Lord Shiva. So Chakravarti Pad, like in his purport, he actually talks about, he says that Sati is saying that those who are, she says that those who are actually having good conduct, or those who are sadhus, they actually accept faults in others' conduct, because they know that this fault can be transformed into good qualities. So they see the fault in others' conduct, knowing that this fault can be transformed into good qualities. Like for example, he gives an example. Somebody may speak harshly, but a sadhu or a mahat or a great soul, he will accept that fault. Maybe it can be transformed into a good quality. Just like neem juice is bitter in nature, but then neem juice can be used for curing certain sicknesses. So this kind of person is called as sadhu or mahat. And in contrast, Sati is saying, you are not actually sadhu. She is telling to Daksha, you are not sadhu because you like you are actually asadhu. Like those who are asadhus, when they see good qualities in others, they think that this good quality will turn into faults. Like somebody may have a nature of like helping others, but then a person will think, oh, maybe now he is having this good quality, but then he will start becoming greedy later, or he is having a bad intention, later he will turn bad. So such kind of people is actually asadhu. And then the second kind of person who is having good conduct is this second class of people, they overlook the faults and see the good qualities. The first kind of people, they see the faults, but they think that this fault can be transformed into good. The second kind of people, they overlook the faults and they see only the good qualities. Like for example, somebody may be a materialist, somebody may be having many bad qualities, but then he may think of the good qualities of a person. Oh, at least, so he's having, he treats the guests nicely, or he sings nicely, something like that. So such kind of people are called as mahattara. And so these people, they praise the good qualities and not the bad qualities. And the second kind of person who is having bad conduct is called as asadhutara. So they see only the faults and they overlook the good qualities. They don't see the good qualities and they see only the faults. Just in contrast to like mahattara. Somebody may have good qualities, but then they see only the faults. So this person eats too much, or he's like sleeps too much, or something like that. It's not. So, this is what the example is given. This is asadhutara. And then the third kind of person who is having good quality is mahattama or sadhutama. So such people, they see the small good quality and they magnify to a great extent. And they don't see even the small faults. Like in mahattara, they don't see the big faults and they see the good qualities only. But in mahattama, they don't see even the small faults, and on the other hand, they magnify the small good quality to a great extent. Like example, like it says, oh, this person has stolen my gamcha, like stolen my clothes, something like that. But he is like, he is having weapon, but still he does not attack me. So that means he is so merciful, he is such a virtuous person, that he is saying. It's like mahattama. And on the other hand, like the third kind of person having bad conduct is like asadhutama. They see small faults and magnify to a great extent. And they see no good qualities in other people. Although a person may have many good qualities, but he does not see those good qualities, and they magnify a small good, small bad, and magnify to a great extent. It's like something like he says, example, he says that like this renunciant has given up the forest and lives in the house of this householder. So he only wants to steal their money. Something like that, he gives an example. So basically, you can understand the principle. And then he says, like those, the fourth kind of person who is having the greatest good conduct is, they see good qualities in people where there are none. Although a person may not have any good qualities, but they see only the good qualities. And in fact, such kind of people, they see that the whole world is filled with only good people. There are no bad people in this world. So they are called as ati sadhutama or ati mahattama. And then Sati is saying, like, and then Vishnu Chakravarti says, the fourth kind of like bad person is, such kind of people, they say that they see only fault in the people even though they don't have any fault. And they see that the world is filled with only bad people and there are no good people in this world. So Sati, when she is speaking this verse, Sati is telling to Daksha Prajapati, Lord Shiva is such a great soul that he is so dear to the living beings And he actually does not see fault in anyone. And he is the most exalted. He is the Ati Sadhutama. But you are finding fault in Lord Shiva. And because of finding fault in Lord Shiva, you are actually finding fault in the whole world. So you are actually the lowest of all kinds of people. You are actually the Ati Asadhutama. So especially I wanted to discuss because just recently we had this Mahashivaratri. So it's like glories of Lord Shiva. Of course, sometimes one may think like our aspiration is at least come to the level of Mahat. Like you see the bad quality and then see the eventually it will get transformed into good qualities. But like sometimes one may think, oh, these statements are like very idealistic. But then the fact is that like when we hear the glories of such great people like Lord Shiva, as Bhagavatam says, Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto Hyabhadrani Vidunoti Sagrut Satam. When a person hears the qualities of great souls, when a person hears Krishna Katha, which means Krishna and about his devotees, then all the actually anarthas get removed. And actually all the problems in this world, like few weeks back, like Varang Prabhu made this point, he said that like ultimately for the reason for all the conflicts is because we have actually anarthas within. The solution for all conflicts is like we have to purify the anarthas. And what is the simple process to purify the anarthas? We have to actually hear about the glories of the Lord and his devotees. So here we see that Lord Shiva is exhibiting this quality. And Krishna is actually sees that good quality, like apparently good quality. Actually there is no good quality in one sense. But he's actually giving the highest reward, which nobody can imagine. So that is why we see, like this is this pastime is very special. And like few weeks back, like Prem Kishore Prabhu was sharing one point which we heard in class. Like again, like this particular quality is exhibited by another devotee, Vidura. Like when you see the character of Vidura for his whole life, he was so loyal to Dhritarashtra and the Kauravas. He only gave good advice to the Kauravas and Dhritarashtra. When Krishna came as a Shanti Dut, Dhritarashtra asked him, so what should we do? Should we give back the kingdom to the Pandavas or not? So Vidura said, we should immediately give it to the Pandavas because they have the rightful claim over the kingdom. And you are trying to maintain your son, Duryodhan, and it is thinking that he is going to benefit you, but he is going to be the cause of the destruction of your whole dynasty. And then when Duryodhan comes to know that, Duryodhan like criticizes Vidura like anything. He says like, you are actually the son of a kept mistress. And you are actually such a dishonest person. You are actually the spy of an enemy, spy of our enemy. He's actually criticizing him from his birth, and he's actually doubting his character. And then Duryodhan tells them that immediately throw this Vidura out of the palace. Just leave him only with his breath. Like, I was just reflecting this incident. One devotee was saying, like his father was working in a big post in a government office. He was saying that how his father is having a financial crunch, that he was supposed to get some 25 lakhs or something like pension, the provident fund. But then, because he was a little honest person, and many of the subordinates in the office, they were envious of his father. And then they actually filed a false case against his father. And because of that case, he is not actually getting the provident fund. Only few lakhs he got, like, and because of that, he is having a financial problem. So I have to work to help my father, like that he was saying. So here we see, like usually when a person works for a company or an organization, like in this, like we expect some returns some provident fund or something at the end. Like when we don't get it, like it's like a person goes into big trauma, a big depression. But here, Vidura, for his whole life, he only had good intention. He was actually, he very sincerely served the Kauravas, but the provident fund or the pension he got was only his life breath. But Vidura was thinking, his consciousness was described that Vidura said, Vidura is telling to Duryodhan, but you actually blessed me because being driven out of the house and staying, I'm going to visit the holy places. And staying in the holy places, what pain can I suffer? I'm not actually suffering any pain because I'm going to visit all the holy places. And in this way, like Vidura was actually thanking Duryodhan. So we see that this quality is exhibited by Krishna and his devotees. So I had some more points, but I just want to maybe conclude with this, like this one particular verse. Like it is explained that, like Shukdev Goswami is saying that when a person actually hears this narration of Putana, one attains attachment for Govinda, the supreme original person. Like what is this actually? Like there's one particular verse which describes the character of a person, which describes, from this we can understand what is the symptom of a person who is actually has developed attachment for the Lord. Because like, at least in my case, like we may speak, but then our condition is like very poor, because it's reflected when the problems come, when there are dualities. But here it is explained in this verse in the 4th canto, Ativa Bhartur Vradadharma Nishtaya Shushrushraya Charsha Deha Yatraya Navinda Artim Parikarshita Pisa Preyas Karasparshana Mana Nirvriti. So this verse actually describes about Queen Archi, who is the wife of Prithu Maharaj. So it's explained that Queen Archi, when Prithu Maharaj went to the forest to perform austerities, when he took the Vanaprastha ashram, when he went to the forest to perform austerities to actually attain the ultimate perfection, he was accompanied by his wife and she was also assisting her husband. So it's explained that Queen Archi, she was also performing all the austerities which her husband was performing. So here Prabhupada points out in the purport, first of all, Archi is a woman. So a woman's body is not suitable for the austerities which a man can perform. Like Prithu Maharaj was eating fruits and roots and leaves. So woman's body is not suitable, but still she was performing those austerities. And moreover, she was actually the queen before. She was the queen of the whole world. So when a person is used to certain comforts, when a situation changes even slightly, then usually we become disturbed, isn't it? Like I remember, like one of my cousin brother, I went to visit him long back. He left his job in America and then he came to in India. He took up a job in Bombay. When I went to meet him, like there was some small construction was going on in his house. So it was like the person, like Indian construction, like so much of like mess, like all over the place. But then he was like shouting at that person like anything, like you people don't know how to do the job. Like was like why is he shouting like anything? Then I could see that because when you are used to certain comforts in America, like when he came back to India, like it's like you could not see even slight discomfort. So here in the case of Archi, like she was the emperor of the whole world. She was the, like queen of the whole world, and then she is now in the forest all alone, and she was performing the austerities. And then it is explained, Susrushaya Charsha Deha Yatraya. The word Arsha means sage. She was performing austerities with great determination like a sage. Not just for namesake some austerities, like a sage. But then it is explained, Preyaskara Sparshana. But then she was not at all unhappy, but then she was actually completely happy performing those austerities. So then one may think, like, how is it that a person can be happy, like in such whose body is not accustomed? It's a completely different situation. So Prabhupada explains, so Queen Archi, she was not unhappy because she was actually enjoying the honor of serving her great husband. Because she thought that actually I have the opportunity to serve my great husband. So this is such a great honor and privilege. So because, like, when a person, suppose a person is told that you have been selected for the award of Bharat Ratna, so you have to come to receive this award from President. So one will not actually think of, one will not say that I think I have some appointment on this date, so can you change the Republic Day to some other day? I'll come and you will not say like that. So basically, one will consider, oh, this is a great honor. Like even there is like small bodily inconvenience or something, like one will go to actually receive that award. So when will a person consider something as a privilege? When a person understands the greatness of the person whom he is serving, and when a person is conscious of his own fallen position, then a person considers, oh, this service to this great person is a great privilege for me. So when you understand it is a privilege, then even when there are dualities, he will actually see, oh, I think he will not, those dualities will not come to the forefront. So because Queen Archi, actually, she considered the service to Prithu Maharaj as a great honor, like she was not at all unhappy, although there were like extreme dualities. But then one more point is, like sometimes, like we may actually, the fact is, like devotional service is actually a privilege for us. Like Radhanath Maharaj in many classes he emphasized that devotional service is not a work, it is actually a privilege. Because it is service to the Supreme Lord. But many times when we actually come to Krishna consciousness in the beginning, we become conscious, oh, it's a privilege, it's a honor for me. But in the case of Archi, she was not serving her husband for the first time. Like she was serving her husband in the Vanaprastha ashram. It means like, and it was in Satya Yuga, that means like for thousands of years they used to live in Satya Yuga. In our case, usually familiarity breeds contempt, but Queen Archi, she actually, although she had been serving her husband for so many thousands of years, but still she was actually conscious of the fact that it's actually a great privilege for me. So because of that, she actually was completely happy serving her husband. So we can see that, like, this is one of the symptoms of a person who has actually developed attachment for the Lord. That is, when a person develops attachment for the Lord, then even when there are like extreme dualities, one considers, so it's not actually too much. One is like unhappy. One is not unhappy, even though there may be some inconveniences. So, like this is, I wanted to say, like, because I had more points, it will take half an hour more, but I'll stop here. But so I'll quickly summarize like what we discussed. So we talked about the nature of Putana. We discussed some of the reasons for Krishna why he closed his eyes, and then we saw that how Krishna actually neglected the bad qualities of Putana, and he saw the good qualities of Putana. Then we discussed that how this quality is exhibited to the high, to the greatest extent, not only by Krishna, even by devotees like Lord Shiva and Vidura. And finally, we saw the symptom of a person who has actually developed attachment to Krishna. So I'll stop here. I'm sorry that I didn't want to. Grantana Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki.